what I saw in Civilization yesterday. Not only your attentiveness and the beautiful picture Sonia drew, but these amazing questions. And so we'll make a habit now, because you guys did such a great job of giving you paper when we start Civilization, then you write your Socratic question down. These are too good not to capture. If mankind could be perfected, would that be a good thing? Whose question's that?
Sorry, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's, do you agree with
That's
the
right. It's like
Is the alcohol banning based on how much people were drinking? Whose question was this one? Great. Please don't read yours because it's long, but this is actually a really insightful question about why was the women's movement happening and what did men react to it? What is the biggest way the Second Great Awakening has impacted our lives? Who is that? Sarah, great. Why did the Second Great Awakening happen? Claire, great. If you found a way to perfect people, would you? Fabulous question, William. Who was the most powerful person in the Second Great Awakening? Mia, great. So if afterwards, if you guys get a chance, if you just put your name somewhere on these, because we're going to post these on the Civilization wall. We'll keep posting them. But really an amazing start, and thanks for experimenting with this. But these questions are questions most college students wouldn't be able to ask. Really powerful. Hayes, I saw you, where's Hayes? I saw you yesterday, and I had to leave my teeth worked on, so I wasn't here for the last, but I saw you at the beginning of the questioning of Clint Greenleaf asking him what was the most powerful lesson you've learned in your journey. That's the kind of curiosity that makes people a great conversationalist. Believe it or not, great conversationalists actually don't talk very much. They ask powerful questions. And so I know, Clint, I heard the rest of the questions you guys asked were really powerful. Questions are the key to really being a great conversationalist. All right. Yesterday you heard from Clint Greenleaf about how a best-selling book can be used to start a publishing company, to disrupt the publishing industry like you're disrupting education, to sell piggy banks to kids, to change how they think about making money and saving money and giving it to charities. So imagine this. You're an entrepreneur launching a new web-based education company that could change the world. Your sales will depend on whether you can write a best-selling book to spread the word, just like Clint, just like you're writing now. You remember back to Acton's philosophy on learning. I'm not sure how many times you guys have heard this, but the right thinking leads to good decisions. Good decisions become habits. Habits become character, and character determines destiny. So meaning thinking right, decisions, habits, character, destiny. You know that that's kind of part of the hero's journey, but you've got a problem. Several of your new hires, while very, very smart, seem to be taking the easy way out. They're always looking for shortcuts. Do you fire them? Do you intervene as the CEO, the boss, and kind of call them in for counseling? Do you trust the community to take care of it? A wise mentor says you should either fire them or trust the company. You can't be everybody's parent. So let's take a vote. You're in this spot. How many of you would fire the people?
Say what is it?
Three options?
No,
Three.
two.
I'm
Either
going to give you three. You can fire them, you can counsel them one-on-one, or you can challenge the community to take care of the problem. So fire them.
I probably should.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. How many people would counsel them one-on-one? You actually sit down with them and kind of counsel them. 1, 2, 3,
I know, right?
I know
I should. I just can't.
How many people would actually trust the community? You would empower the company.
Well, I did at first, but then after a couple of weeks,
Yeah,
it hasn't
you can't
been
depend
decided.
on other people. That's not smart.
Interesting.
I have a reason why.
When you say, let them take care of it by themselves, you mean like not even say anything, you just let it fix by itself, or address everybody, you're taking some shortcuts, now fix it, or else they'll be following.
That's a great question.
Like, that's pretty much.
Because I would do it if you just address it and say, I want y'all to fix it, or are you just gonna let it be while they?
Let's come back to that, Gage.
I'm gonna say that I would counsel one-on-one because if I fired them, my company would be basically in disarray because I'd be firing most of the higher up people.
Gary.
Pretty sure
I would fire them because it sends a message to every employee you have okay, this guy was slacking off, he was getting the easy way out. Okay, he's fired, so if I slack off, I'm fired. So,
Lily?
I would talk with him one-on-one because he could be really, really smart, but he's just not understanding that he can do this. Like, he might be underestimating himself. And so if I do that, then he could work hard, he could set an example for other people, and if I just fire him, my business could start.
So let me change the question. Sorry, you'll see this is out of 100 get-rich-quick tries. If you're have a tendency to be an NBA hair, out of 100 times you try to get rich, how many times does it work? Does it work 0, a few, 25 times out of 100, 75 times? How many times does the get-rich-quick scheme really work, Kobe?
well, I would say, if it depends what company, but I'd say if it's a normal company, if you tried 100 times, probably like 10.
Do you look at numbers lower or higher than Kobe? Is 10 a good number, Mason?
I think we should go a little lower, around 5.
5. Nikita?
I'd say 33% of the time, because there are 3 things that could happen if you try and get rich quick. You could either fail and lose a ton of money. You could either not get rich quick, but you have a good business going, or you could get rich quick. So 33% of the time, you should get rich quick.
Charlie?
I think it's even less than Mason. I think it's 1 to 3 or 2, because a lot of people think they use schemes to get rich quick. They get scratch cards, they marry and then divorce wealthy people so they can get their money, which never works. You need to work hard to be able to get rich. You can't just bet on something and win.
Claire?
So I have a clarification to make. Are these each different schemes, or are some of them the same scheme, just you don't know?
It's not.
I mean, scheme, not scheme. Like,
We're just trying to get rich 100 times. How many times will it work?
But it doesn't have to be the same. It's
Try.
different.
So the odds are relatively low, somewhere between a third and a couple of people. Why do people keep trying to get rich quick schemes? Why do they play the lottery? Kenzie?
Maybe because they just want to, they're not doing very good, and if you don't take a chance, you never know what's going to happen, so you might as well try.
Sarah?
Well, I think a lot of people, it's just the idea of getting rich really fast without working hard. It just sounds really great to people that they don't really think about it. It's probably not.
Ben?
I agree with Sarah because nowadays most people, they would much rather instead of going and getting a good job, they would rather just buy a few lottery tickets and go to get.
So let's say you've got an MBA here. I mean, you've got them as a friend or as a coworker. Are you doing them a favor by being nice and carrying them on a team and doing their work for them or not? A favor or not? Anna?
No, because in the long run, they never learn anything. So they just, instead of failing relatively,
So I want to follow up with another question. Can they change, though? Do you believe that NBA hairs are capable of changing, or is this something that's just in their DNA?
I think they can change, but
Bart?
I agree with Kinsey. I think that if you raise a child,
Anna.
What? Anna. If you raise a child, do everything for them, and release them, they can't do anything by themselves.
Nikita?
well, a lot of teens today feel like they don't want to go to college because, oh my gosh, that's too much work, and then they don't want to get a job because that's too much work. And so a lot of people today just don't want to do work, so that's why they take the easy way
But
out.
let's say the teens have taken, let's say that you've hired one of these teens, they're now 20, really smart, but they've got this kind of get rich quick. Can they change? I mean, is it?
I think that they will be an NBA player at heart,
Yeah.
but you can teach them how to try and overcome that, and when that, feeling comes up, how to push it back down.
Is that a bad thing?
So I want to bring this, I know I'm moving this fast, but we can keep talking this, but I want to make sure we stay within our 15 minutes, because I'll bring this more. Tonight's the information session. Any of you, we're going to have 80 or so, we think, families here. We've got to decide, there's very few spots left. We've got to decide who gets in. My question for you is, if you took 100 students off the street, and you think about this MBA here, bootstrap towards asset boxing, the 100 kids there, how many of those 100, if you do everything right, will make it at Acton and become self-directed learners? Frank?
If they were Indian hairs, then I don't think.
Well, then just 100 people off the street. We just go pick 100 kids at random. Anybody that wants in can get in. How many of the 100, they may be MBA hairs, they may not, just how many of the 100 make it?
Probably.
10 at base?
I really think it depends on how far they are in public school. I would say, it's kind of hard to say, maybe 5 out of 100, maybe around 15 to 100, because I was actually talking to one of my friends, and he's in high school, and he says he'd probably never go to self-teaching. He's used to someone telling him what to do.
Interesting. Mason?
Actually, gonna have to go just a little bit higher.
Sarah?
I think that everybody can do it because, like, people are saying like 10 out of 100. That's 1/10. But last year, 14 people came in and only 2 people had to leave, and we're all.
So we had an 80% success rate of who we attracted.
Yeah, and I think the 2 people who had to leave, they could have stayed if everybody was working harder to help them stay motivated.
Yeah.
If they were working harder. But I feel like everybody could be able to do it if they tried.
No.
I absolutely agree with Sarah. I think everyone can do it because, and maybe not the high schoolers, I kind of agree with Pace too, but if it's elementary schoolers to middle schoolers, I think they definitely adapt to this way lifestyle. And they kind of have to.
So now I want to ask you a really hard question.
How do you
It's
tell?
the last question I'm going to ask. No, it's harder than that. How many of the 24 of you are going to make it?
During life or?
Yeah,
Make it to become self-directed, to make it self-directed learners. Jack?
And then in the next 2 months,
I would have to say 20.
What? How many are there right now?
20 out of 24.
Right.
No.
Four are not going to make it. 20. Gage?
I'm gonna say about 75 to 80% of us are gonna
So what is it?
self-directed.
So that's about 20. That's about Jack's number. Claire?
I'd say at least 20 are going to make it because other people can learn.
Mason?
20 to
20 to 21. Keith?
Are we including Ellie in this or not?
Yes.
no, yes.
Let's say it's 25.
Ellie's not gonna leave, I can tell you that now.
Yeah.
She won't leave at any
Then
time
I'd say
soon.
like 22 or 23 people.
Charlotte?
If Ellie's in it, 21 people. If it's 24, 20.
All right, so last comment, no more questions. Several of you have been looking for shortcuts. My observation. As a community, how are you going to help those people make the best decisions for themselves before it's too late? Setting boundaries, serious conversations, consequences, actions by the council. I'll leave it to you as a community to answer that question. Lots to do today. Core skills first. Your last testing late this morning. And then what I hope you'll find a fun launch and discussion about getting the right people on the bus this afternoon. Good luck.
Wait, guys, before you go, the council would like to make an